Shavua Tov, a gute Woche, and welcome to our program. Wednesday is Yud Shvat. What is Yud Shvat? The simple answer, Yud Shvat is the outside of the previous Rebbe and the first day of the Nesius of the Rebbe. Nevertheless, within that, as far as we are concerned, what does Yud Shvat mean to us? There was a Jew who lives now in Bnei Brak, the Beliohu Lando soll sein gesund, the son of the legendary Rav of Bnei Brak, Rabbi Yankiv Lando, Zechleinu Livrocho. He was here in the 1960s for the whole winter. And before Pesach, he was going to go back to Eretz Yisrael to his father. So he writes the Rebbe, he told the story at that time, so he writes the Rebbe, at the end of the month of Adar, that for Pesach soon, before Nisan, he wants to go back to Eretz Yisrael. So the Rebbe answers him that maybe he should wait for Beis Nisan, stay here Beis Nisan, and go back after Beis Nisan. Concerning Beis Nisan, the Rebbe writes something like, Shehu hascholas hanesius shel kvit kedushas me'erichomi admur. What is Beis Nisan? The beginning of the Nesius of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Now, there are two things here. Number one, the Rebbe teaches us how to look at Beis Nisan. What is Beis Nisan? One would say Beis Nisan is the outside of the Rebbe Nishma Seiden. Indeed, it is. But the Rebbe says Beis Nisan is the first day of Nesius of the Frierdiker Rebbe. He doesn't even mention the Rebbe Nishma Seiden. He says it's Ascholas Ansir Shel Kedushas Me'erichomi Admur. Interesting that he writes this to the son of Rabbi Yankiv Lando, who was known to be a chassid of the Rebbe Nishma Seiden. V'chulu v'chulu. But the Rebbe is teaching us as to, we should understand. Now, concerning Yud Shvat. Yud Shvat is the outside of the previous Rebbe. And chronologically, that happened earlier, Tovshin Yud. Nevertheless, in the Seder HaKirvo Eleinu, to us, how do we look at Yud Shvat? Yud Shvat is the first day of the Nesius of our Rebbe, of the Rebbe that we knew, and therefore that we have the connection with. So therefore, both things are correct, absolutely. It's the outside of the previous Rebbe, and it's the first day of Nesius of the Rebbe. But the Rebbe teaches us how our perspective should be. It is interesting, as we always start, with a customary story. So we're going to learn the Maimed, a piece of the Maimed, at least, of Bosser Legani Achesikalo, as a customary story that there was the Verbringen started of Yud Shvat of Shin Yud Aleph, the first formal Verbringen. I should tell you before that, heard the story from Rabbi Yosef Halevi Weinberg, that during the year there were a lot of bakoshes from Chassidim to the Rebbe that he should take over the Nesius. And the Rebbe was reluctant. Everybody knows that. And there's a basic question. Reluctant, why? Chassidim need a Rebbe. And the Rebbe was the one who was fit to be a Rebbe, no one else. So why the reluctancy? If we can ask such a question. This story answers that question. Rabbi Weinberg told the story that the Chassidim went in and to ask the Rebbe, and it seems they were very strong about it. And the Rebbe answered them, Ich hab nit kin heroe save them. I do not have any directives about it. Which means the Rebbe listened to what the Frierdiker Rebbe said, and there was no heroes about it. Next day, they took 10 people, that's the way he told the story, and they went to the Ehel of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and either they said or they wrote that they spoke to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, "Der hat nicht kein heroes," v'chulu v'chulu. After that, he says, the Rebbe never said that anymore. And Baruch Hashem, Yud Shvat was the Nesius. During that Verbringen, the Rebbe started with a Sikha. And there was a Jew, the Bavlom Sender Nemtsov. He was about 80 years old at that time. He was the father-in-law of the Nissen Mindel. And he, after one of the sichas, a few of the sichas, he says, Nimtzochein, Beinei of the Rebbe, that sichas are very good. Chassidim want to hear a maimer. I heard a story from two people, from the Yehuda Leib Geroner, the Rebbe secretary, and from the Chassid, Tzvi Hirsch Gansburg. They both told the story, Bitchilu Chimu. And after that, the Rebbe started the maimer. And the Rebbe said the maimer in sequences. He didn't say the maimer completely in one time. The Rebbe said the maimer, that there was a stop, Anigen, Lechayim, and then the Rebbe continued, and so on. After the Rebbe finished the first part of Bossi Legani, this, the Bavlom Sender Nemtsov, got up on the table. He was an elderly man. He was 80 years old. And he said these words, Yidden, mir hoben a Leben. And he made a beloch b'shem u'malchus. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam shehechiyonu v'kimonu v'higiyonu lizman hazeh. Everybody watched. The Rebbe answered, Amen. And from Rabbi Geroner, I heard a few times, and from Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Gansburg, both Zechleinu Livrocho, that the excitement, if you can say that, the warmth, the tears that were in that room at that time is Ein L'Shaya. And you can imagine from the story that there's an announcement, Yidden, mir hoben a Leben. This is the Avram Sender Nemtsov, who made this announcement. Lived for 40 years in Manchester, England. The Rebbe Nishmal Seiden sent him to Manchester. And he was a sheikhet in Manchester. In Shvat of Tofelish Peizayin, which means Shvat of 1937, the beginning of 1937, the previous Rebbe came to Paris. He stayed in the house of the Bzalman Schneerson, 10 Rue Dieu, and Avram Sender Nemtsov heard that the Rebbe is coming to Paris, so he came from Manchester to Paris to see the Rebbe. And he went into Yechidus. At Yechidus in Paris, the Rebbe said to him, Du hast gesucht Emes, und du hast gefunden Emes. You were looking for Emes, and you found Emes. Why are we telling you this story? Because you're not talking about a Jew who was looking to make an announcement. The Bavlom Sender Nemtsov was looking for the Emes. He wasn't looking for announcements. As a matter of fact, after that, he had Erichas Yomim V'Shonim Teves. He lived till he was 97. You never heard from this Jew anymore. He looked for Emes, and he found Emes. He saw that there's Emes. Lubavitch is continuing. There's a Rebbe of Emes. And he saw that, and this is why he made that announcement. And that announcement is a historic announcement because it brought everybody into great emotional heights. As mentioned, I heard the story from the Rebbe secretary, Rabbi Yehuda Leib Geroner, and Chassid Tzvi Hirsch Gansburg. The Rebbe started the Maimer, Bossi Legani Achesikalo, it doesn't say here legan, it says legani. What does legani mean? Lignuni. I am not sure, but lignuni is a new word. There is no word in Hebrew in the Hebrew lexicon lignuni. Here, however, lignuni means the explanation. Lignuni means legan sheli, to my gan. Lemokim sho yikori betchilo. Al kaponim b'derech efsher. Dike shchina betachtenim hoiso. And then the Rebbe said, Dike shchina was, and he brings what it says, that Dike shchina was in this world. So we had what we were thinking, maybe it was a perfect world. God created the world, and the Shekhinah was in this world. But then, through the Chet of Adam Arishin, the Shekhinah left this world and went up to Lorokia to the heavens. Now, only the first heaven. And then after the Chatoim of Cain and Enesh and so on, every time the Shekhinah went up higher and higher until the Shekhinah went back to the seventh heaven. After that it says, Omdu Tzadikim. Tzadikim came and they brought the Shekhinah back from the seventh to this world. Avram is the first one, and he brought it from the seventh to the sixth and so on. Until Moshe Rabbeinu came, and he was the Shvi, v'chol hashviin chavivin, and he brought the Shekhinah from the first heaven to the world. And the Rebbe explains, what was a greater deed? Bringing the Shekhinah from the seventh to the sixth to the fifth to the fourth, or bringing the Shekhinah from the first Elokia to the world? And the Rebbe says, indeed, the bigger accomplishment was bringing to the world. By the same token, as the greatest removal of the Shekhinah was when the Shekhinah was removed from this world to Elokia. And the Rebbe explains that when through the Chatoim of Cain ve'Enesh nistalko Shekhinah melokia lelokia, that the Shekhinah only went from one heaven to the other in the spiritual realm. Nevertheless, through the Chetzei Tzadas, nistalko me'oretz lelokia, the Shekhinah was removed from the earth to Lokia. So that was the big move. From one Lokia to the other, although it's a great move, but it's a big move, but it's not the main move because the Shekhinah is already in the heavens. So it's in the first heaven, then the second, the third, and so on. But the bigger move is when it moved from this world, Mi'oretz Lokia. Since that is understood, then on the way back to this world, the biggest move is when the Shekhinah was brought down from the first heaven to this world through Moshe Rabbeinu. And this is why, in the way the Rebbe said the Maimer, B'sigekume Moshe Rabbeinu, v'sed is the Shvi. L'cheira, the Rebbe would say after that, with this nigun v'chol hashvin chavivin, and he brought us back to this world. That was not the nigun of the Maimer. The nigun of the Maimer was something like, Bis is gekume Moshe Rabbeinu v'sed the Shvi, v'chol hashvin chavivin. It's a different note completely. In other words, there are six. It's not seven, it's 6 and 1. Because Moshe Rabbeinu v'chol hashvin chavivin. And through the Maimer, the Rebbe speaks about the Maile of the Shvi. What you see in this Maimer is 3 structures. 2 structures you see are evident in the Maimer. 1 structure is not evident. Which structures are evident? Number 1, the negative structure, that there were those who removed the Shekhinah from this world to the Lokia, and the Chet of Odom from this world to the Lokia, and then Cain ve'Enesh and so on. That's 1 structure of 7. And then there's another structure of 7 of tzaddikim that brought it down to this world from Avraham Avinu till Moshe Rabbeinu. And these 2 structures of 7 are evident. They're part of the Maimer. But then there is a 3rd structure of 7, and that's not that evident in the Maimer. And these are 7 tzaddikim that are bringing down Moshiach into this world. Starting from the Alter Rebbe, who is the Rishain, and the Rebbe, who is the Shvi, who is bringing Mashiach with Peil Mamash. Now that's not evident. The Rebbe doesn't say that just like they are 7 and 7, there is a 3rd number of 7, and they are bringing, but that is, if we learn the Maimer, we see it. And the Rebbe speaks about the Shvi, the Deir HaShvi, because we are the Deir HaShvi. And Kol Echod ve'Echod, Yisrael, every single Jew, Chayav Leimar Mosai Yagiu Maisai LeMaisai Avesai Avram Yitzchak ve'Yankiv. Elo, Shemekol Mokeim, darf man nicht sein genarrt bei sich. We shouldn't be fooled. V'tzodich leida, And we have to know, Kol Hashvin Chavivin, which means all the seventh are precious. And we're the seventh generation. Asher b'mkeim gedelim al talmid. That we don't read in the place where they are gedelim. V'chol malas hashvi hu shu shvi lo lishin. The mile of the shvi is shvi lo lishin. And what is shvi lo lishin? As I can duchfin avedas o shlichos o lishin, the altikle vayikro elo vayakri. The mile of the shvi is that he can fulfill the shlichus, continue and fulfill the shlichus of the lishin of altikle vayikro elo vayakri. It doesn't say vayikro and he called. It says vayakri. Avraham Avinu made others call the name of God, and this is why the importance of this generation is so important, that this generation does the altikra vayikra vayakri that you hear from all over the world. You hear the Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. This the Rebbe said in 1951. And then the Rebbe started working. And when the Rebbe said it in 1951, it wasn't really understood. The whole world is going to scream Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. It was right after the Holocaust. The world was broken. You couldn't even communicate with the entire world. And in this Maimer, the Rebbe says, darfst du sehen, that as Eib will soll eingehen der Vayikro, muss sein der Vayakri. I don't know how to translate into English. Soll eingehen der Vayikro. Which means if you want that your Vayikro soll eingehen, should be accepted, should be done, and so on. If you want to accomplish your Vayikro, that when you are calling Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, God should answer you. There's only one way. Then you have to make sure that there should be a Vayakri, that another Jew should say Shema Yisrael. So let's read it again, what it says inside. Tzorech leida, as Eib will soll eingehen der Vayikra, muss sein der Vayakri. If he wants that his Vayikra soll eingehen, whichever translation you are going to find. Eingehen means me that he should have, he should reach, he should maintain the Vayikra, that when he calls, it should actually happen. When he says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and when he calls on to God, he should be answered. There's one way that's going to happen. When he is going to cause Vayakri, that another Jewish kid should also say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, then his prayers are going to be answered. And this is what the Rebbe said in this Maimer. In the same Farbringen, when the Rebbe finished, then the Rebbe said something like, Itzter held Yidden. Now, listen, Yidden. What is the depth of Itzter held Yidden? Now listen, true Yidden. And what did he say? That you have to work yourself. We're going to help you, but you have to work yourself. We're Chabad Chassidim. The difference between Chabad Chassidim and Chagas Chassidim was, in Chagas Chassidim, Chesed Gvura Tiferes, it was that the Rebbe was the Rebbe of Chagas helped out all the Chassidim. Because of his work, he worked for everyone. In Chabad, you have to work for yourself, which means Chochmah Bina Das, that you should understand. You should learn a Perek Tanya. That's what it says all over in Ashtikul Likutei Torah, so that your mind should understand. And it's all based on the pasuk V'tzadik be'emunosei yichye. And in Chagas, the Pirush is the tzaddik in his emuno yichye lives. Al tikra yichye elo yechaya. He not only lives, he makes live. He makes the Hasidim live. But who does that? The Tzaddik. The Tzaddik, the Rebbe of Chagas, the Guterid, the leader of Chagas. In Chabad, we have to do it ourselves. So the Rebbe said, Easter held Yidden. Now you wanted a Rebbe, you wanted a Maimer, you got a Rebbe, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Shechiyonu v'kimonu v'hikiyonu lizman hazeh. We have a Rebbe, Lubavitch is continuing, Lubavitch is growing. But Easter held Yidden. Mit Afton allein, mit Aflernen Chassidus and so on. It's only repeated, Rabbi say, because this is what the Rebbe spoke about. The main focus of the Rebbe's Nesius, although the Rebbe liked everything, the main focus of the Rebbe's Nesius is the coming of Mashiach. And the Rebbe said it at that Verbringen. At that Verbringen, that formal Verbringen, Yud Shvat Tovshin Yud Aleph. The Rebbe said that there is in this country, there is a minhig. The Gemara says, Azil likalte, avat kenimusa. If you come to a town, you do as the customs of the town are. If you come to a town, you do what the customs are. And there's a custom in the United States of America, the Rebbe said, that when there is a new president, the new president makes a statement as to what his administration is going to achieve. And the Rebbe said, in view of that, he is going to say that what is he going to achieve? Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu Bepeil Mamish. The coming of Mashiach Bepeil Mamish. And this is why you heard so many times, you heard from the Rebbe, the Geula Ho'amitis Ve'ashlemo. The Geula Ho'amitis Ve'ashlemo, translated into English, means the real Geula and the complete Geula. Arguably, and a Jew of Chachmei Lizhanke would ask the question, what's this Geula Amitis Ve'ashlemo? If the Geula is not Amitis, if it's not a real Geula, so what kind of Geula is it? And it's not a Geula. So why would I be saying every time the Geula Amitis Ve'ashlemo, the complete Amitis, the real Geula? What other Geula is there? If it's not real, it's not a Geula. The Rebbe answers that Tosfos asks this question. Tosfos in Psochim. And Tosfos says that there is a Geula, sheyesh achareo tza'al. There's a Geula that there is tza'al after that. The Geula of Mitzrayim. We went out of Mitzrayim, Geulas Mitzrayim. But was that the Geula Amitis Ve'ashlemo? Unfortunately not. Because there was a Golus after Mitzrayim. So we went out of Mitzrayim, and that was a great Geula, but it wasn't a real Geula. Why? Because it wasn't everlasting. We're still in Golus. Geula Ho'amitis Ve'ashlemo means a Geula she'ein achareo tza'al. Or as the Rebbe brings many times the Lashon of a Medrash, Geula she'ein achareo Golus. Geula Ho'amitis Ve'ashlemo. So the Rebbe wanted to bring the Mashiach Tzidkenu Bepeil Mamish Begeula she'ein achareo tza'al, Begeula she'ein achareo Golus. A Geula that there's no tza'al. Tza'al means anguish. Tza'al means agony. There's no tza'al after that. This is an everlasting Geula, Geula Ho'amitis Ve'ashlemo. And this is what the Rebbe is bringing. It's taking a while, but we're getting there. So therefore, the dedication of everyone for Yud Shvat, what is our dedication? Well, the Rebbe said that he is bringing Mashiach Bepeil Mamish. And the Rebbe mentioned many times that the Melech is giving over the victory to whom? To the Anshe Atzovo. Who brings about the victory for the king? The Anshe Atzovo, the foot soldiers, the ones who go out into the field. The king is in the palace. He doesn't go out into the field. It's the Anshe Atzovo, the foot soldiers. They are bringing the victory for themselves and for the king. And that's what the Rebbe said. So therefore, it's the foot soldiers, each one in his own way. One can accomplish more, one can accomplish a little, everyone together to bring Yemir Hashem, to bring about, and this is the dedication and the rededication to Yud Shvat. This is what our Rebbe wants from each and every one of us. Not that each one of us on their own can do it. However, collectively we can do it. And as the Rebbe said, when Mashiach comes, and he's coming now, Mashiach will ask each one, "Was hast du getan zu bringen mit Enter? What did you do to bring Mashiach?" And there will be a Jew from Chacham Elizhanke who's going to say, "Rebbe, what do you mean what we do? Mashiach is here, right? So we did." And the Rebbe will smile, and he will say, "My question was, was hast du getan? What did you do? That Mashiach is here, we see. But what did you do?" And now is the time, allein chappen. However you're going to translate allein chappen, now is the time to chap allein, to get in, to do it immediately. Now, before the coming of Mashiach, then each one can do another little bit and another little bit and another little bit, and collectively, Emir Tashem will bring about die Geula Amitis Veha Shlemo, Gesundheit und Freilichkeit. Oba Agolo Didan, over Simcho, over Tuv Levov, over Teva Nile Veanigla, over Mato Measodot Fochim, over Chesed, over Lachamim, Vetekef, Umiyad, Mamesh.